my name is Andrea Kennedy, and today what I would like to talk to you guys about is cohabitation and my thoughts on cohabitation. Being completely honest, how many of you have cohabitated before? That is actually living with your significant other before actually being married. Or how many of you still cohabitate and think that it's okay to do so? Well, I am here to tell you that I lived with my husband for 6 years before we got married, and it is one of the best things that I have ever done. This is my family, my two beautiful children, and my husband, to whom I have been married to for 3 blissful, great years. And I truly owe it to cohabitating before we were married. I'm sure there are some things that we do that get on each other's nerves, but we would have never known so had we not lived together for so long before actually even being married. My mother is such a traditional woman in the fact that she believes in her heart that two people should not live together before being married. I'm sure there are several people that also believe this to be true, but that is because they have never sat down to think about all the actual benefits that you get by living together before actually being married. I, on the other hand, am a firm believer in cohabitating and find it absolutely necessary before marriage. And these are some of the reasons why I do feel like cohabitation is a great step to make before actually being married. It provides you with less financial stress. Now, how many people out there just get so tied up, with bills and having to pay things on their own, and they need that extra support? Well, by cohabitating before being married, guess what? You got that extra person there that can help you with the bills. So that way you can save up money. You can actually pay off debt that you may owe because you have someone that goes in half with you on most of the bills, which is a great benefit to cohabitating. You get to share things amongst each other, bills, finance wise. You get to share those finances. So no stress is too much for one person. Not one person is having to worry about all the bills because you know what? We got two people here that can go in half on everything and we can both live more comfortably because of it. You get time to know your significant other. That is such an important step. You need to know the person that you decide to live with the rest of your life before you actually make that commitment to them. So by cohabitating, guess what? You get to now know this person before you say your I do's, before you have a legal document that binds you both together. It's nothing more important than knowing that person, before you get married. You need to know things about, do they snore? Is that something that you can handle? Is that person a slob? Do they never clean up behind themselves? Well, these are things that you do need to know because you may can't handle these things. So if you know it in advance, then you know that maybe that's not the step that you need to make with this person. So by cohabitating, living with that person before actually being married to them, you have this trial basis. Now you get to see what that person is like before you actually sit down and have made that legal document. Also, it's less pressure on you and your partner. How many of you feel like you have to be, absolutely perfect in those beginning stages of when you meet someone? You feel like you don't want to do anything that may scare that person off. Well, by cohabitating, you get that chance to know that person. You have met that person. So guess what? It's going to be less pressure on you guys because you now know that person. So you don't have to feel like you need to be perfect for that person because you've known them for, a few months or even years, like in my case. The next thing is you get a synapse, of what it is like to be married. That's marriage is a big, huge step that we all make in life. We need to know what it is before we get into it. So I feel as though by me, cohabitating with my now husband for 6 years, I know him. I know what I've gotten into. I know what marriage is like before we actually have said our I do's. So I would like you all to sit down, think about this topic on how cohabitation allows for you to have less financial stress. something I think we all want in life. We want to not have so much stress of finances on us, and this is the way in order to do so. You get an ample amount of time to know your significant other before you actually say those I do's. So you don't have as much pressure on you, and you know your mate. You know them before you actually make that big, huge step, which is very important. You don't want to find out 3, 4 years down the line that this is not the person that you wanted to be with, and then you have made a legal document, you guys are married, and guess what, now you have to go through a nasty divorce. So by cohabitating, we have skipped over all those steps, and we've lived together, we know each other, and we know if we actually do want to make that commitment of being married. So I want you all to, sit down, think about this. I believe this is a great step to make before being married. Cohabitation worked well for my husband and we continue to have such a loving relationship. And I truly believe it has something to do with the fact that we lived together for so long before we actually got married. We know each other well. We knew each other well before we actually made that big step.